this is a good start for people to know how to network. So demonstrate interest in the other person. Don't go with an agenda. Be natural and genuine, and have an open heart. Don't go expecting that somebody's
Yes,
going to actually have something back to you. It could be the beginning of planting some seeds, you know?
yes. I think this is the word planting seeds. So I
Yes.
think you have to, in everyday life, plant seeds, you know?
Hello, and welcome back to my show. So, this is Master Communications episode number 7. And I'm here today to talk about a very special, very required, demanded by so many people topic, which is how do I successfully network? How do I actually gain traction? And for this purpose, I have brought a special guest, an expert in networking. So before he starts telling all about, hey, how do we network successfully? How do we start a conversation? How do we gain business or even jobs through networking? He's going to introduce a little bit about himself. So Eddie, welcome to my show. It's great to have you here. Cheers.
Yes.
Please tell us all about yourself and networking.
Thanks first, Isabelita, for inviting me for your show. As maybe with the accent, you can see that I'm a Brazilian also, like you. We are sharing to Brazil World Cup. We are anxious to that.
World Cup.
Yeah, we are anxious to that moment. So I am first of all, I'm really glad to talk about networking. I think it's really important, not for your career, but your daily life. I think it's one wonderful thing when you help people without waiting anything in return. This for me is the best thing that you can do in the world, and then you can receive the help. It's amazing how it works. For me, it always worked, and and for sure, if you do this, it will work for you too, guys. So I am an entrepreneur. I have a startup in Brazil of building finished building material called VP Reform. Before that, I worked in a company that brought products from China to big promotion campaigns in Brazil. We worked with Natura, we worked with BRF, Sadia's brand.
The chicken, guys, the chicken you see in Carrefour, that's Sadia, which we say Sadia, but you say Sadia. It's actually from BRF, this company.
Sadia Perdix. Also to Natura, which is a big company in Brazil, one of the biggest one. and I worked also for some global companies as Unilever, PepsiCo, and BRF in the financial department, in trade market department, and I end up in the sales department.
Okay, Helio, quick one. I always heard about the, let's say, the strength and the need to have good connections or how to be able to infiltrate certain markets, especially in big companies, big 500 Fortune companies like Unilever, PepsiCo that you worked for, and you have been so successful that you decided to actually launch your own startup and implement all those beautiful skills that you learned. Now, at first, you didn't have that network, right? It was not that you already had the network, everything is so easy, straightforward. You had to build it. Can you give us some examples maybe when you actually said, you know what, by building network, by building rapport, or from going from the scratch, I was able actually to crack the code, gain business, and be successful in my career?
Actually, I think that today it's much easier to get connected with people than it was before. First thing that you have to do in mind that you have a circle of people that you know that you can help, that can help you, you know. So for example, I will give an example. I wanted to sell a specific product, a promotional product to Natura. So I checked in the LinkedIn, people that I worked with, if somebody worked at Natura at that moment. And then you start trying to check how can you talk to this person without, of course, showing that you have
You just want
a
an
hiding
agenda.
agenda.
Very, very genuine. How could you be genuine and get helped?
Yeah, I think one thing that you have to have in mind, it's if you start helping people without asking for anything in return, when you need someone to help you, it will be easier for you.
Here we go.
It will be much easier. So in my career, and every people that asked me for help, I was willing to help somehow. Of course, that sometimes you cannot help, you know. And this, I think, you have to be resilient, because I had, in a first moment, when I left big companies and I went like be an entrepreneur, it was hard for me in the beginning, because you don't have the door as open as you had before, you know. So that's why you need even more the network and the relationship.
Okay, Helio, let's give an example. Let's say for those who says, okay, Helio, how do I actually start? You know, so for instance, they are in a similar business. You have several lines of businesses that you have been successful with. Let's get the example of, let's say, Unilever, PepsiCo, those more on the FMCG arena, than just for the sake of the example. So what should they do? How should they open that door? How do they even start talking to people? So let's say we could even be in an event right now. It doesn't need necessarily to be over LinkedIn, but let's say we are now face to face. Okay, let's network, let's explore synergies, what to say, what do we do, how do we prepare? Usually this is the doubt. How do you do that? What would you say?
I think I would go people that, for instance, if there is people that talking, that presenting a subject, maybe you can approach this person and say, hey, I love the thing that you're talking, for me was really useful, and start a conversation. I work with this or that, how can we exchange cards, how can we create synergy? I think that if you meet someone that was not presenting, but is with a tag here of a company that you are interested to make business or to go into, maybe you can try to talk to this person, try to find some connection between them. If the person works in trade marketing and you work also in trade marketing, how can you connect?
Yeah.
How can you create this synergy?
Yeah. You actually remind me, you know, like last week I had an event where I was actually the speaker, and I was so happy to be in the event. And suddenly, right after the event, there was this gentleman. He was like a bellboy who works for a hotel. And he came all the way to me. He was bold enough to come to me and say, Isabelita, while I was packing everything, I just want to tell you, I really loved the presentation and you're very motivational. And that really got in my heart, because you want it or not, you feel good about hearing that from somebody else after you just made a presentation. And I said, thank you, what's your name? And then I started a conversation with him. He said, oh, my name is, I'm not going to reveal now because it's going to be probably watching and in my LinkedIn, but let's say just for the sake of the example, my name is Bob. I said, oh, Bob, lovely, what do you do? Because I was so appreciative of his comment. He said, well, I'm in Dubai for the last 2 months. I'm looking for a job. I said, what are you looking for? So he didn't have to say, I'm here, can you please help me get a job? He started by making a compliment to me and basically kind of saying, I don't have an agenda. I just want to say I liked what I saw about you, or what I read about you, or what I saw in your LinkedIn profile. And I started the conversation after that. And then I said, hey, can I help you somehow? He said, sure. And long story short, I sent his CV to 2 of my good friends, GMs, in 2 different hotels, and fingers crossed, he's going to get a call.
I think if you are genuine, this will happen.
Genuine.
Yes, yeah, I think it will happen
Yes.
naturally, naturally.
Okay.
If you have someone that you want to talk and you have something really interesting to a compliment, or
Yes.
a subject that you have relationship with he or she, there will be a great possibility of you get in touch and exchange cards and probably starting a synergy, cooperation. Yes, for sure. And I think people, they like, sometimes we are afraid of asking people to help, but think about yourself.
Yes.
For me, for example, I love to help, if I can help someone, I will do
Exactly.
it. So why are you afraid of asking for help,
Indeed. And it's the way you do it, right?
Yeah.
I think if we can put a formula based on our discussion, Helio, and also from our previous chit chat before this recording, I think I can kind of create a formula if you help me. I would say first, build the interest in the other person. Don't come with your agenda. Come say, you know what, I just want to let you know I saw your profile, I saw your speaking event, or I read your book, or whatever it is. I listened to your music. If it's let's say you're talking to a singer or whatever it is, and I really loved it. I want to say thank you. You made a difference in my life. By you starting by creating a rapport, by telling them why you admire, why you're saying hello, naturally the other person, they will say, wow, who are you? Nice to meet you. And everything can develop. So it could be show interest first in the other person, make them feel good about themselves, and the rest will develop.
Yes, for sure.
Right?
We are human beings, and human beings like to have compliments.
Exactly.
It's natural for us, you know.
Yes.
Who doesn't like to have a compliment?
Yes.
You did a great presentation.
Exactly. Who doesn't? Even if we know, but you say, no, this is smart, it still feels good, right? It's almost like saying, I'm going to take a Panadol because I have a headache. I know it doesn't fix anything aside from removing the pain, and it could be all placebo, but you know what? I will still take it because I'll feel good.
Yes, for sure.
Okay, wow, this is lovely. I think this is a good start for people to know how to network. So demonstrate interest in the other person. Don't go with an agenda. Be natural and genuine, and have an open heart. Don't go expecting that somebody's going to actually have something back to you. It could be the beginning of planting some seeds, you know?
Yeah, I think this is the word, planting seeds. So
Yes.
I think you have to, in everyday life, plant seeds, you know? And today it's easy because you have the possibility of be connected with so many people, LinkedIn, that you go there and you have worked with so many person that probably is in a company that wants to work or a company that wants to do business. So today it's much easier. I am a little bit crazy sometimes. Sometimes I search in LinkedIn and I send message to someone. For example, in my business, I was having difficulties to have a brand in my store to sell. They didn't give me attention. It was hard. A big company. Who is this guy that's trying to sell my products? And then I sent by LinkedIn to the president of Docol, a company of Brazil, and they answered me.
Lovely.
And then today I sell Docol in my store. You know.
There you go.
So it's not that hard, you know.
No.
Today I think it's much simpler than it was before.
And now, if you think about anybody who is even like, let's say, big names across the world, successful people, celebrities, let's say Elon Musk. I always mention Elon Musk. I hope one day I'm gonna meet him. So Elon Musk, everybody starts in a way. One day he was not known. One day he was not famous.
Sure.
One day he was not successful. Last night I was watching a documentary about the war of colors between Pepsi and Coca-Cola. And I was surprised to know how many times Pepsi was going for bankrupt in the beginning of 1800s. My God, unbelievable. And then suddenly in the first year, they only sold 25 bottles. And eventually today, I don't need to say, right? Who is Coca-Cola? What is Coca-Cola? So I think it's the same about success in your life, in your career. You don't need to start big. You don't need to start being successful. You might fail 100 times. You know,
the more you fail, the more you are near your success. For sure.
There you go. Well done. Well, guys, we don't want to extend too much of your time. This is the first conversation I'm having with Helio here over our show. We will definitely bring him back if he's available and willing to do so.
For sure.
So let you guys
be a pleasure.
Think about it. If somebody wants to find you on LinkedIn to network.
Yeah, I think LinkedIn is the best tool.
Best tool.
Yes.
We'll put his link right below right now. You can see it. Reach out to Helio. He's an open network. Let him know you saw him in this show, so we know it was very valuable to you. Meanwhile, please be a life creator and take that step forward. Don't be judgmental. Don't judge yourself. Don't be afraid. Just be yourself and bend this reality. Bend the matrix and create the reality that you wish to see in your life. And until next time, stay blessed. And thank you for coming to the show.
Thank you again.
Bye-bye. Till next time. Lovely. Helio, now...
Eu não gostei. Não, mas não tá ruim.
That's gonna go for blue person. Wait.